lovers, and welcome to the Liberty Mike podcast, broadcasting from an undisclosed location in the heart of Dixie. I am Michael, and I am here with Liberty Larry.
How's it going?
Doing all right. How are you?
Pretty good. So did you have a good bridge and power plant day?
Yeah, it was way better than I thought it might be.
Yeah.
Yeah. How about Easter? I hope everybody had a happy Easter.
Yeah. Well, we had that too, I guess, this past week, right?
Yeah, lots happened.
Yeah.
Lots happened in the last week. Yeah, I mean, I expected there to be a deal.
Yeah.
But there was a seed of doubt.
Well, it's Trump, so you just don't know.
Yeah.
Like, you just don't know. Like, I mean, he could have, as easily as he backed down here, which there's no question in my mind that that's what he did.
Yes.
Whether his supporters want to believe that or not, because I've heard a lot of this week of, they finally capitulated and came up with a deal, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
It's like, that's not how this worked. That same deal was has been on the table since this started.
Yeah, pretty much.
So, like, that's not what happened here. But yeah, I mean, as easily as he backed down, he could have followed through with it. Like, I mean, he's that crazy, I think.
Yeah, there are some concerns.
There are.
Like, I have some concerns. I'm well over Trump at this point.
I mean, I am too. I mean,
get him out. I cannot wait until he's out of office at this point.
And I hate to be that way because and here's where I think a lot of Trump supporters are. Is they want to. He said so many good things that they believed in.
Yeah.
And they want to. And I feel like when I talk to a lot of them, it's not, I was going to say that they want to believe him, but I almost feel like it's like they just like put their faith there.
Yeah.
Like that. Well, he knows things we don't. Like he's,
oh gosh, yeah.
I've heard that so much. Like, well, he's got access to all kinds of information we don't know, and he's a smart guy. He's putting it together and he's figuring out the best he can, and he's not afraid to back down on I don't know. It's just all seems like bluster though. Even I'm talking about from his supporters now, not even like him directly.
Well, I've had a lot of problems in this term where he just doesn't seem to believe that there are any limits on what he can do.
Yeah.
And I kind of lamented his first term that he put all these people around him that were working at cross purposes.
Yeah.
Because there was the really good talk about foreign policy before his first term.
Oh yeah.
And he expanded the existing wars at least for a period, but he started shutting stuff down at the end of the term.
Yeah.
It took him 3 years to decide that that's what he wanted to do when he needed some votes, I guess.
And I do figure, well, that you're right. It may have been just a vote ploy because he knew he had to run again. I wouldn't be surprised if at the end of this term he does the same thing, where he starts like. Because I think in his mind, as long as he's in there running the show and moving the little pieces, that he thinks he knows better than everybody. But he doesn't want to leave those pieces available for somebody else to start shuffling and moving.
Yeah, like he's the only Grand Master.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, I thought that maybe he could have successfully withdrawn from Syria and Afghanistan and Iraq and like some of these places during his first term, and I thought that he was trying to.
Yeah.
And that he just didn't have the people in office that around him that were on board with what he wanted to do.
Yeah. And when you look at those people, like that makes sense.
Mustache guy. What's the walrus mustache guy? Bolton. Gosh,
yeah.
I like have his name blocked in my head. It's like literally struck through.
It's a good one to block out.
And then going into this term, like I didn't support Trump going in, but I thought, okay, well now he's put some people around him that do seem to be on board with what he wants to do, and maybe, just maybe, we'll become a peaceful country and like withdraw from a lot of this stuff. And it's gone completely the other way. Yeah. And And the worst of it, like beyond just the terrible foreign policy that he's instituted during this term, the affronts to what were supposed to be the legal limitations of the executive branch are even worse.
Yeah.
And because like that's gonna keep being used by future presidents. So
Yeah, you don't ever put that genie back in the bottle.
no.
It'll just be expanded even more under the next, whoever that is.
Yeah. So I think that he's actually done a lot of damage to our country on a number of fronts.
Yeah. Well, the stuff he was posting this past weekend was just completely.
I thought like people really went nuts about the profanity laden post that he put out on Easter.
Yeah.
And I thought, like, we recently watched the 3rd season of The Wire.
Yeah.
And there was that part where they put a hit out on that guy on Sunday. And that was, like, put down by all of the gangbangers. Like, no, this is not, you do not do this on Sunday.
Yeah, it's like, the Sunday truce. Yeah, you don't break this. Yeah.
And I thought about that. It made me
and it's a good point. Like I say, I mean, of all the days of the year he could have chose to, with the Tuesday deadline, that was just a random day he picked. It's not like it had to, like, if we didn't do it on Tuesday, we couldn't do it on Wednesday.
It was a temper tantrum.
It was. No, and that's kind of where I was going, is that, and it's wild to me because what has happened here is, you're right, he was throwing a temper tantrum because he thought that we were going to get into this and be in and out like we were last time. And instead of Iran doing what they were supposed to do and letting us take some shots at them and then come back out, Iran's decided, no, you're in it now.
Yeah, we've had enough of this.
We've had enough of this, and we're not going to let you just walk away from this without having taken a bloody nose. And this weekend was kind of, I think, the culmination
Yes.
of all of that frustration.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, it was as plain as day to see. I mean, it was clear that he is just off the rails.
So I have been critical of other commentators talking about Trump's mental state.
As have I.
I think that, like, okay, I don't need Jeffrey Sachs to tell me that Donald Trump is a malignant narcissist and blah, blah, blah. What does Jeffrey Sachs know? Jeffrey Sachs stick to economics, man.
Yeah.
Although that's not his only. I mean, he does a lot of foreign policy. He speaks at the UN all the time. Like the guy has credentials beyond economics, but not in psychology.
but not in that particular realm, right?
Yeah. And so I've gotten frustrated with people talking about that, like making these comments about that Trump's mental state has declined and so forth.
Yeah.
Which I guess is unfair because I did not have a problem with people doing that to Biden.
The difference was it was abundantly clear with Biden. Like there was really...
Well, okay, so this is true. But I think that it's the specificity of... Like, really the ones that bothered me are people like Jeffrey Sachs that are applying a diagnosis to him.
Yeah. That's
instead
fair.
of just saying, like, the guy's off the rails or,
Yeah. Well, I literally just said.
Yeah. Because it's not the same thing, but if you dress it in
fancy language,
clinical language, it starts to, and you have no authority to make these kind of judgments. That's the part that really bothers me.
Yeah.
That said, I'm about to do that.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you almost have to. Like, I mean, this was on the level of just Biden clearly being incompetent. Of like, there's clearly something wrong here. Like, I'm not pretending to even like give it any kind of clinical or even know, but it's just as on a human level, like you can tell by the language he used and the way he used it that something is wrong here.
Yeah. Well, and the other thing is that like these press interviews and so forth that he's given where he's talking about with such glee about the deaths of the leaders in Iran.
Yeah.
And it's not the same thing as talking about people dying like, oh, we dropped a bomb and we killed hundreds of their soldiers. Or like, he's talking about specific people with a great deal of apparent joy that they're dead now. And it reminded me of Hillary Clinton when she found out that Gaddafi was dead.
We came, we saw, he died.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Then the
Afterwards.
cackle, yeah.
And like this is psychopathy.
Yeah.
Or psychopathy. I don't know how you're supposed to say that word, but I think psychopathy sounds better.
Yeah.
Is this complete disregard for others' lives and like that they have essentially that they have exactly zero value.
Yeah.
And to take such apparent joy in the deaths of others, I think like sometimes as a president, I think that you find a place where you believe that it's necessary and okay, but you still deal with it with some level of solemnity and respect.
Well, there's a difference between knowing that this was the right option, and yes, we had to kill some people, but it was the right thing to do, and taking joy in it.
Yeah,
like there's a line, there's a difference between those two. Like, I mean, I haven't had to do either, but like. It's just there's something morbid about getting off on that.
Yeah, he seems to really be taking pleasure in individuals' deaths.
Yeah,
and I think that's like not quite human.
It's not right. It's not good. I don't know. It's definitely. And the other thing is just as far as that with his mental state, like, so, because we're not the first to bring this up, obviously. And a lot of the Trump supporters immediately go back to, well, you know, Biden was incompetent and blah, blah, blah. And it's like, didn't say that was okay.
Yeah.
Like I was giving Biden hell when he was in office too. Like it's.
And I'm not even saying necessarily that Trump is incompetent.
Yeah. I'm not
incompetent isn't really the word that I would use.
Yeah.
But I think that
I think he's became irrational.
Yeah, irrational maybe, but certainly undeserving.
Yeah.
Of that office. Like I know that that sociopathy and psychopathy is like really common among politicians and so on.
Yeah.
And clergy apparently.
Yeah.
Well, you're speaking for God, you know. It's that power dynamic thing.
Yeah.
Like anyway, but that doesn't mean that I want those people to have power. And in fact, that it goes back to the statement that's been made for so long and that I've said over and over on this podcast, is that the kind of people that seek that kind of power are exactly the people that you don't want to have it.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's certainly where I am with Trump.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
I didn't ever really trust him, but I had some hopes for what he might accomplish. Yeah. And now I just want him gone.
Yeah. Yeah. You're not, like I say, I hate to be that way. I mean, I'm right there with you.
And you voted for him.
Well, yeah. And was pretty strong. Like, I mean, it was more than a hold your nose vote. Like I was pretty excited about the potential there. I don't know. I just don't see. It bothers me that somebody could have the kind of potential he had, like the unique opportunity to like really make positive change in this country, and just like wash it away.
Yeah.
Like,
and if nothing else, the economic
and
changes
that's really
that could have been made by him, rolling back regulations and starting businesses easier and lowering taxes so that there was just more wealth among the people, and cutting spending like he was supposed to do.
All of the stuff he talked about in the campaign, Doge, and I mean, like I say, not that I ever believed that he was going to do it, but like abolishing the income tax, like. Or I mean, even if he didn't go that far to have made like drastic changes in a positive way to it, would have been good with me, you know.
Yeah. Instead, he's asking for a $1.5 trillion defense budget.
Yeah, and all of
which
his,
we really need now that we've attacked all over the world and made so many enemies.
Well, yeah, exactly. I don't know, and what bothers me the most is like the stuff he's doing is going to put us in an inflationary economy, just like what we had under Biden.
Yeah. And that he started during COVID in his first term.
So yeah, this is twice he's going to be done this to us, and I guess that's on us because fool me once, you know.
Yeah.
But I really did think it would be different this go around. Lesson learned.
Yeah,
that's all I can really say.
Well, I voted for Oliver Chase Oliver.
Yeah,
Oliver Chase sounds better, doesn't it?
I guess it has more of a ring to it.
Yeah.
But
that didn't work out either.
Well, obviously.
That wouldn't have worked out even if he won, actually. I don't think. I mean, that would have been bad. I don't think we'd be here, though.
No, I don't think we would be here for sure, but I think we'd have other problems.
Yeah. All right. I'd like to play this clip from Rubio again. This time he's not standing in front of a jet engine, so the quality is good here.
All right.
So I apologize again to everybody on the last show. There was just nothing I could do about it. I tried so many things.
Yeah.
So many things.
And before anybody chimes in, well, you should have used some of the AI tools. They're really good at cleaning this type of thing up.
No. I tried that too, and it started changing words and so forth. There's
it changed languages a couple of times. Like it would translate.
Well, I don't know if it was changing languages, but it was making it gibberish.
Yeah, well, it may not have been a language change, but like an accent change.
Oh yeah, well, his accent didn't sound right. His voice didn't sound right.
Yeah, it was weird.
It's just jet noise is apparently too broad a spectrum of sound. It can't be cleaned up.
Yeah, I can't do it. Yeah, we found the weakness,
and I can't do it either.
Yeah,
I tried doing it first. That's why I settled on the AI tool to try and do it. It's I tried a number of different things to reduce that noise, and none of it worked. It either became so thin that you couldn't really hear anything, or then the AI tool just changed words and stuff.
Yeah,
I don't know what was going on. But anyway, this is a much better recording. You should be able to hear him very clearly, and then we can refute everything that he says.
Nice.
Many Americans are asking, why did the United States have to attack Iran now? Well, let me explain. Iran wants to have nuclear weapons. Of that, there is zero doubt. If what they truly wanted, which is what they claim, is nuclear energy, well, they could have nuclear energy like all the other countries in the world have it. And that is you import the fuel and you build reactors above ground. That's not what Iran has done. They build their reactors and their facilities deep in mountains, away from the public glare. And they want to enrich that material. The same equipment that they could use to enrich material for energy, they could use to quickly enrich it to weapons grade. So it is clear that they've been offered every opportunity to have a nuclear program that allows them to have energy, not weapons. And every single time they have turned it down. But why the attack now? Well, what was Iran trying to do? Iran was trying to build a conventional shield, in essence, have so many missiles, have so many drones that no one could attack them, and they were well on their way. We were on the verge of an Iran that had so many missiles and so many drones that no one could do anything about their nuclear weapons program in the future. That was an intolerable risk. Under no circumstances can a country run by radical Shia clerics with an apocalyptic vision of the future ever possess nuclear weapons. And under no circumstances can they be allowed to hide and protect that program and their ambitions behind a shield of missiles and drones that no one can do anything about.
Okay, I will start.
Yeah, my bad. I just assumed you made notes. I was going to let you go.
Yeah. All right. So the first thing he says there is that they were trying to develop a nuclear weapon. There is zero doubt.
Yeah.
There is zero evidence that they were doing this.
Yeah.
When we were still under the JCPOA, the inspectors found nothing to suggest that they had a nuclear weapons program. As I've said over and over again, and like he pointed out at the end, it's a radical Shia government that had a religious decree against the use of weapons of mass destruction. That seems like pretty strong to me. And they didn't use them when they were used against them in the 1980s in the Iran-Iraq War. When the chemical weapons were used by Iraq against Iran, the chemical weapons that we gave Iraq, by the way. And so I think that there's like a good track record to suggest that they genuinely mean that they are not going to use weapons of mass destruction.
Well, and it's something else. I don't remember exactly what he said, but he alluded to the fact that they're these crazy, that if they've got these weapons that they'll use them.
Mm-hmm.
And just thinking about that. So, and I'm not sure how much we've talked about this on the podcast, maybe a lot, I really don't remember, but like there's like a escalation ladder that we go back and forth with Iran. And that's the whole reason we've never attacked Iran to begin with, is because we don't have escalation dominance over them. Like they do something, we do something, they do something, we do something. The only way we have that escalation dominance is if we use our nuclear weapons against them and do what Trump was threatening to do.
Yeah.
But I say all of that to make the point, if they were so...
sorry to interrupt you, but like I miss the days when he was funny instead of genocidal.
Yeah, no, for sure. And yeah, because he's really not even that funny anymore. No. Or maybe I've just gotten so irritated with him that I don't find him.
He still says some things that are pretty funny.
Yeah, but, because I did always, man, those original debates in 2015, or 2016 when he was, anyway.
Yeah, sorry, I got us off the rails.
Complete aside. But yeah, so we don't have true escalation dominance over them.
Without using nuclear weapons.
Or annihilate. I actually saw some stuff this week that we wouldn't have to use nuclear weapons to like level their society. Like we could do it conventionally.
Yeah.
Not that makes it any better.
Well, that's my argument. Why, like, kind of the base of my argument about why we should get rid of our nuclear weapons as a
society.
As a token to everybody else, is because we have the conventional weaponry that we could utterly destroy any civilization on this planet anyway. Yeah. We don't need nuclear weapons to do that, so why don't we just get rid of ours?
Yeah.
As that first step and say, okay, look, we got rid of ours. Russia, you get rid of yours. China, you get rid of yours. Yeah. Israel, you get rid of yours.
Right.
Et cetera.
Yeah. But anyway, where I was going with that is that so Iran has cards that they can play if they were truly just like these crazy nut jobs that want to see the end of the world and whatnot. Like they can start they have the capability to hit those desalination plants.
Yeah.
And that would cause major chaos in the world if they did. They haven't done it. Like they've.
Yeah. Well, they've
threatened to when
their actions have consistently been a response to attacks on them.
Yeah.
Like every time they escalate, it's a response to an escalation.
Exactly. So if Marco Rubio was correct about, well, if they had these weapons that they would use them, well, then why haven't they why haven't they played some of these other cards that they have to play?
Yeah. Here's an important point that Marco Rubio said in that. Is that he said that they're building with their conventional weaponry and drones and so forth, that they're building a conventional shield.
Yeah.
Shield, as in defense.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly. Now he meant that in the context of that they were building this defensive shield so they could build the nuclear weapons.
Yeah.
The argument I'm trying to make is if they were truly trying to create the chaos and destroy the planet the way they are, I just feel like they've got ways that they could do that outside of those weapons.
Yeah.
I don't think that they actually need those weapons to do some of the things that they're being accused of trying to do.
Yeah. Well, they've kind of effectively created a real problem, like a worldwide problem.
Yeah, I mean, they have more or less control over the Hormuz Strait.
Yeah, and this is another thing that people keep talking about. Like, this is why we have to go attack Iran. I'm like, look at what they've done to the energy market. They have prevented all this energy. Like, they control the most important energy pathway in the world. Yeah, but they let it run just fine until we attacked them.
Yeah,
this
I
is
was
another
gonna
one of
say-
those things. It's like they do something in a response. This has happened over and over again through, well, not just in this war, but in every
Throughout,
war, it feels
yeah,
like,
yeah.
is that we say, look what they did as a response to us attacking them. Their ability to do that is the reason that we needed to attack them.
Yeah.
Yeah, but they weren't doing that until we attacked them.
Yeah.
Everything
and
was
there was
running
no
fine
reason to
until we
believe
attacked.
that they were going to ever do that. I mean, it's all of these things are there as a hedge to protect them from being attacked.
Yeah, and the other stuff was a protection as well. He was talking about that they, like every other nation, they can import their fuel instead of enriching themselves, and they can build above ground nuclear facilities instead of below ground nuclear facilities. Well, the reason that they were enriching themselves and the reason that they built below ground facilities is because Israel is constantly attacking their energy infrastructure, and that the U.S. has been sanctioning them like crazy. Yeah. So the only way that they could be sure of their energy supply was to do it themselves and to protect those things from outside attacks.
Yeah. I mean, that makes nothing but sense. And also,
and they're permitted to enrich uranium under the Non-Proliferation Treaty.
Well,
All
yeah.
the nations that are signatories to the Non-Proliferation Treaty are permitted to enrich their own uranium. And until Trump pulled us out of the JCPOA in his first term, they were never enriching above the agreed to levels, which is something around 3%.
Yeah, yeah. So something else with this whole like nuclear weapon thing. Like the Iranians are smart people. Like they're not like a bunch of goat herders that, I mean, they're intelligent people.
Yeah, barbarians.
They're not. And they've always like, we got to believe that if they wanted to produce a weapon, like they could do it. Like they've got the,
yes,
I'm
they've
trying to
always
make
had
the
the ability.
point.
What they have had, what they have been using as another part of their shield is a latent nuclear capability.
Okay, yeah, that's where I was trying to go. Yeah.
Their ability to quickly produce a nuclear weapon is something that they have used to protect themselves.
Yeah.
They weren't actually producing a nuclear weapon, but they knew that they had the capability to do so.
Yeah.
And that was enough to be, they were trying to use that as a deterrent.
As a leverage. And which, by the way, is something that's very difficult to take away. Because once you have the knowledge of how to do it, like, I mean, you can, I guess, assassinate the scientist.
You can bomb them into the Stone Age.
You can bomb them into the Stone Age. I mean, but you got to make sure you destroy any computers that have that information on them. Like, and any, I mean, obviously, the facilities is what we were going after the last time. Like, just specifically the facilities. But the point is that if that was something that they were wanting to do, nothing we've done here is gonna
like make that impossible in the future.
Exactly.
Yeah. I think,
and the way like if you do think that that they're like on the verge or they want to do this, a good way to keep them from doing it is to get them into a deal like what we had, the JCPOA.
Yeah, best thing Obama did.
Yeah, I mean, that's like if you're truly worried that that's the problem. Now, we know that there's more things going on here than just that. But
yeah, the best thing Obama did in his presidency was sign the JCPOA. The worst thing that Trump did in his first presidency was leave the JCPOA.
Yeah, because that's how we've gotten to where we're at now.
Yeah. Well, okay. So we didn't drop a nuke, thankfully.
Yeah.
There was an agreement, and here's why it was us capitulating, not them.
Yeah.
It was Iran's 10-point plan
that has been on the table since.
I mean, for a month.
Yeah, I mean,
or nearly. I mean, I guess I don't know. I guess it hasn't been quite that long. There was a point at which they were like, "Yeah, we're no deal right now." Let me show you what we can do first.
Yeah,
then maybe. It's so Iran's 10-point plan includes 1, the guarantee that Iran will not be attacked again. Two, a permanent end to the war, not just a ceasefire.
Yeah.
Because right now, remember, the ceasefire this is a good starting point.
Yeah.
Like, we have something that we can negotiate on with this 10-point plan.
Yeah.
So it hasn't been an acceptance of the 10-point plan.
Yeah.
And it probably won't be.
And
so
it won't
we're
be
gonna
because
get
it's a
back into this.
It's a negotiation.
Well, I think that we're just going to be back at war in a couple of weeks.
We may be. I mean, there's definitely.
I hope not. I think this is your best opportunity to get out, and all you got to do is find somebody that can spin it in such a way that Trump can claim victory.
Yeah, but what you've got to remember is the people that got him into this in the first place are not done.
Yeah,
and not happy. Even with the ceasefire. I mean, you had Mark Levin ranting and raving yesterday about how we haven't went far enough and that the job's not done.
Yeah.
And those are the people that have his ear right now. And you know as well as I do, whoever has his ear has his attention. Like that's who he's going to listen to.
There's an even more important point that you're making there, but an example that you're not using. Which is, number 3 on this list is into Israeli strikes in Lebanon. Yeah. Israel is still striking in Lebanon.
And Iran has said that is in the agreement, that this ceasefire is null and void until that stops.
Yeah.
And I believe, and I haven't checked as of the last 5 or 6 hours, but the Strait of Hormuz is closed.
Yeah.
Again.
Yeah. 4 is lifting of all U.S. sanctions on Iran. 5 is an end to all regional fighting against Iranian allies. Israel.
Yeah.
6. So the last 5 of this is what Iran would do. So the first 5 is what Iran expects of its enemies.
Yeah.
And the last 5 are what Iran is willing to concede.
Yeah.
Okay. So in return, Iran would open the Strait of Hormuz. 7, Iran would impose a Hormuz fee of $2 million per ship. Actually, they were doing it as 2 million won.
Yeah, it wasn't dollars. I know that.
Yeah, so I think that this is a mistake on this list that I have.
Oh yeah.
It's less than $2 million. It's 2 million. I don't know what the conversion rate for the Chinese currency is.
The thing I had
right
seen,
now,
they were going to do it by barrel, like however many barrels were on the ships is how they were going to impose the tax. Or whatever.
I've heard that too. I mean, it could be a number of different things. Yeah. Number 8, Iran would split those fees with Oman, which is also on the Strait.
Okay.
Yeah. 9, Iran would provide rules for safe passage through the Strait, and Iran would use those fees for reconstruction instead of demanding reparations from the attacking nations.
Yeah, which is actually pretty big of them, by the way.
Yeah,
I mean, I felt like it was.
Mm-hmm. Because in the beginning of this, they were seeking reparations at the closure of this war, like through the UN and so forth.
Exactly. Yeah.
And that could be far more expensive.
Yeah.
And I would rather them collect fees and raise prices for gasoline, since I have an electric car now, and,
yeah, right.
instead of my taxes going up to pay Iran for the war that I didn't want to be involved in.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. It's a starting place. Hopefully they agree on something close to this.
But it's notable the things that...
What would be really nice is if they set a sunset on the fees. Like, if they were like, okay, we're gonna charge these passage fees, we're gonna use the money for reconstruction, and once it's reached, like the number of fees we've collected have reached this amount, the fees will end and everything, business will go back to completely normal.
Yeah.
That would be really awesome.
They're not going to do that though,
because they found a new way of making money.
Well, yeah, because they're going to end up in not initially, but in the long run, in a better position. Like they control the strait now.
Yeah.
So I mean, that's a win in their category.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they could in the end walk away a more of a major power than they were at the beginning of this.
Well, the truth is that it's also insurance against future sanctions.
Yeah.
I mean, the United States tried to crush the economy of Iran with the sanctions. That was the purpose of the sanctions, is to make it a starving nation.
Yeah.
These fees on passage through the strait, they provide insurance against that kind of action in the future.
Yeah. Which will be the justification for us going in the next time.
Yeah, probably.
Because it's going to be like, well, they're charging the ships going through and using it to build their nuclear program.
Right.
Like, I can already hear the argument.
Yeah.
Like, that's what it'll be.
Yeah, you shouldn't have put that out there, man.
You know it's going to be the case. Like, you know it is. So, it's a mess. I don't know. I will be shocked if like you said, if this is actually over. Because I don't see how Trump can put his name on what you just laid out and walk away with this as any kind of win. The only chance he's got is that the mainstream media is not covering like this portion of it at all.
Well, the mainstream media is on the whole pro-war.
Well, that's what I'm getting
So
at. Yeah, because that plan has been out there for a while now, and I mean, this was the first I had heard of it. I mean, I knew that Iran had put like some floaters out there to see, but I didn't know any specifics because it's not being covered.
Mm-hmm.
It's just not out there.
Yeah,
you got to look for it.
Well, we ready to move on from this?
Yeah, I mean, I don't think I've got anything else on it.
I mean, we could talk further about how Trump's genocidal threats were themselves a war crime.
Yeah. I mean, I kept, that's something as I've been talking to people throughout the week that I've been bringing up is the fact that like if he followed through with anything in all of that those are all war crimes. Like you're not just
you don't even have to follow through. Like for a head of state to make a threat like that,
I did not know that,
is itself a war crime.
Yeah. Well, the pitch I've been making to everybody is that it would be a war crime if we did it. I didn't realize that even the threat was. I mean, that makes sense because like, you know,
okay. The hamster got tired.
Got a little hiccup here, but we're back.
And I don't know exactly where that cut off, but we were talking about war crimes, and genocidal intent and so forth. And
and I was going to say, like, it's like we are basically the UN, so it's not like there's anybody that can step in and stop us from committing war crimes.
Yeah.
Like,
I mean, you know, enough little dogs can take down a big dog.
Yeah, but are they going to do it over Iran?
Yeah. Oh, I remember exactly what we were talking about.
Okay.
Yeah, I hear you, Kat. We were talking about the Congress.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And Senate for that matter.
Doing their job. Yeah.
And if your congressman is not one of the people that's been very vocal about this or even like made it a point to try and introduce legislation to put an end to this, then you should vote them out. Because they're useless. Yeah.
And this is a big enough deal. Like this is the one other thing I was gonna just kind of mention as far as this. Like, I just put yourself in the Iranians' shoes, like the people. Like they just had their whole country, like their bridges and their power plants threatened by the United States of America, which is more incapable of following through. I was thinking about it on the way over here, and I was like, man, like I remember kind of what it was like at the beginning of COVID, or even like before a hurricane. Like, you know how like the rush for the stores and everything. Like, can you imagine what those people were going through? Like preparing for that? Like, just imagine getting the notice that, oh, we may take out the bridge you take to work every day, you know, or the power plant that supplies power to your house. I hope you have plenty of toilet paper. Like,
well, and some way to refrigerate or freeze everything that you've got refrigerated or frozen.
Exactly. I don't know. That just stuck with me on the way over here thinking about, because, you know, I've been through enough hurricanes, and then COVID was kind of the same way. Like that's what this country just went through. Yeah.
Well, what I was thinking about is that at the beginning of this, we were claiming that we were doing this for the people of Iran.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly. Which was always a lie, and we knew it. But still, though, to even like make that
humanitarian
claim,
reasons are never the reason; they're just an excuse.
They're just an excuse. Exactly. Exactly. So anyway, we move on from that now. It was on my mind.
Well, I only have one more topic, and this is the Childs v. Salazar SCotUS opinion. Came out week ago, I guess.
I haven't heard about it, so you'll have to fill me in.
Okay, so here's the issue. There was a psychological counselor in Colorado who, partially because of her religious beliefs, although that didn't actually play a part in the court case, but just to give you the background on the situation, partly because of her religious beliefs, was encouraging her patients who had gender or identity issues to look at alternatives as a resolution to their issues, as opposed to gender affirming care.
Sounds like she's doing the Lord's work.
Well, she thought so.
Well, I guess literally, right?
Yeah. Now, there's a Colorado law that enforces gender affirming care.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
So that's what she lost a case related to her practice, and it got appealed up to the Supreme Court. The Supreme Court actually sent it back to the lower court, but with a recommendation that they review the case under the doctrine of strict scrutiny, which is essentially they're suggesting very strongly that the law is unconstitutional.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, I'd hope it is.
And strict scrutiny says that you can't make a law that infringes on people's basic rights. In this case, they're talking about the right to free speech.
Yeah.
Unless there is a strongly compelling interest of the state.
Okay.
Now, unfortunately, the kind of examples that they give,
I was going to say, so they do give examples.
Yeah, it's like protection of children, security, national security.
Yeah.
So anyway,
well, you could easily, I would disagree with it, but twist this into that they're protecting children by doing this.
Right. I don't think that they will. It's very hard. At least the strict scrutiny doctrine does make it very hard for them.
To squeeze that in there.
Most laws fail.
Yeah. Against it.
Yeah. So anyway, I think that's probably is going to be a law that'll be overturned, and that'll of course affect other laws like this in other states.
Yeah.
Now what they're saying is that since her practice is primarily talking, they were taking it as kind of as a free speech issue.
Yeah.
And the problem being that the state law is regulating her practice in a way that mandates one thing and denies another. So mandates that you follow a pathway of gender affirming care and denies their ability to present alternatives.
Yeah.
All right. So we'll see what happens out of it. But the reason that I wanted to bring this up is that I think that this is a big strike against the movement to centralize control of medical care.
Yeah.
All right. And what I was thinking about, I was thinking about COVID, of course, in this. And primarily, the best example is the California California Assembly Bill 2098, which they later repealed, but did pass at first, that allowed punishment of doctors who provided COVID information that contradicts, quote, contemporary scientific consensus.
Oh, man, doesn't it just burn you up?
Yeah. Now, it was specific to COVID information, but there was concern about that it would provide a template for
future.
Yeah. And centralizing standards of practice for medical care.
Yeah.
Now, in some sense, I'm not opposed to this because you're looking for best practices. But how are best practices discovered?
Well, I was fixed to say, how do you build those practices?
Yeah. These kind of things can't be static. And that's what you end up with when you make it a centrally controlled thing. And that's at best.
Yeah. Yeah,
right.
That's like the best case scenario.
The best case scenario is that if you provide central control of standards of practice for medical care, that the standards of practice don't change.
Yeah.
The worst case scenario is that they become explicitly political.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and go the other way and become worse than what they are.
Right.
Yeah.
And I think COVID provides the best example, but this is a case where I think that this is another chink in the armor of this attempt to try and centralize control of the medical practice.
Well, and COVID is the best example because I mean it absolutely became a political thing.
Yeah.
Like I mean it was kind of astonishing to me that how the camps switched after the election specifically.
Oh yeah. I'm not taking a Trump vaccine.
Yeah.
If you don't take the vaccine, then you're a Nazi or whatever.
Yeah,
You know,
it was amazing. It was like flipping a switch. It really was incredible.
Well, their attempts to prevent the use of some cheap medications that seem to provide some relief was obviously a problem, and it was politically motivated in a lot of ways. It was about money. In the end, about ensuring profits for major pharmaceutical companies.
Yeah.
But that's the risk that you run if you grant political control over medical practice or any other business, really, for that matter.
Yeah. That's just an important one.
Yeah, this is the one that can be like personally very damaging.
Yeah.
I know some people who had family members go into the hospital for unrelated issues, find out that they had COVID, be given, now I can't think of the name of the drug.
The one that was, Remdesivir?
Remdesivir, that's it. Yeah, exactly. Remdesivir, which was the drug that they developed to treat, man, my brain has been a sieve recently. It's that hemorrhagic fever out of Africa.
Out of Africa, yeah.
Everybody knows what I'm talking about, right? Like there are people screaming at their...
Yeah, what it is, because I can't pull it either. Damn it.
Well, thanks for Remdesivir. At least you got me this far. Anyway, it was developed for that really severe hemorrhagic fever that everybody's terrified of, and it got thrown out because of bad outcomes.
Yeah.
And then they turned around and they started giving it, and it was mostly like liver problems. And then they turned around and they started promoting it. Fauci started promoting it as the answer to COVID. And of course, it had some advantages. It was expensive. They had stockpiles of it because it didn't work on the disease that they were trying to make it work on.
The pharmaceutical companies needed to unload it.
Exactly.
It was excess inventory that they needed to unload.
And it had to be given in a hospital.
Yeah. So it was perfect.
Yep. But I know people whose family members went in with unrelated issues, tested positive for COVID while they were in the hospital, were treated with Remdesivir, and died. Yeah.
I don't know any that died, but I had a couple of different coworkers that went through that exact same thing throughout. And fortunately for them, they had to seriously step in to stop that from being prescribed to their loved ones. You got to remember how it was at that time. Like you went into the hospital and it was just like you had no contact with the outside world. Like you were just like in there. And fortunately, like one in particular that I'm thinking of, like she was able to like get her husband taken off of those drugs, but those drugs were killing people. It was wild that we went through that. I just thinking about the COVID thing just gets me worked up, man. Like I tell you.
Yeah. There was only one person that I was able to talk to, like when it first started, when her father first went into the hospital.
Yeah.
And she told me that they were giving him Remdesivir, and I was like, get him off of that as quickly as you can. Yeah. And I don't know if she was just unable to or didn't trust me.
What was hard? Like it wasn't. You couldn't just like go in there and advocate for your loved one. Like it was like it wasn't as easy as just. I should say that you could because, like I say, my co-workers were able to, but like it wasn't an easy thing to do, and it was weird because so my dad had been really sick leading up to COVID, and like I remember like I was at the hospital every day, but my mom was more or less living in the hospital with my dad the whole time he was in. Ebola, yeah. And
that's the African hemorrhagic fever that are just like, if anybody's like, what?
yeah. I don't know why I couldn't think of that either, because I knew what you were talking about. But yeah, before COVID, like my mom advocated for my dad constantly over different treatments and whatnot and what was going on. She couldn't have done any of that if dad had gotten sick during COVID.
Yeah.
Like they wouldn't even let you into the hospital.
Yeah.
And it blows my mind that we allowed this to happen in that way.
And to be clear, I don't know that remdesivir killed those people.
I know, but it killed a lot of people.
It's not an unreasonable assumption, we'll just say.
Yeah, that drug was bad news. And we knew it was. Like that it wasn't like it was like we were blindsided by it, you know. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, like just the idea of not treating somebody in a way that conflicts with contemporary scientific consensus. Like, think about history here.
Yeah.
Like what, I mean, leeches used to be a really common treatment. Like that would have been contemporary scientific consensus.
Yeah. And how do you move past that if you don't allow doctors to make decisions?
Yeah, and to experiment. Well, I imagine that their suggestion would be that you use the National Institutes of Health to fund specific research at specific universities and other centers to move us past that you can't innovate on your own out in the medical field.
No. I mean, these people are...
But that, again, you know, like as I've talked about before, if you have a government agency that's controlling research money, then they can control research.
Yeah.
In a way that I'm going to say limits, but that's not really the word that I'm searching for.
Follows an agenda.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly.
I mean, that's what you get. And there's... To believe that that's the way to progress things is to believe that there's not a lot of really smart people out there. Mm-hmm. Like you're not taking advantage of the market of intelligent people that exist.
Yeah. And the really funny thing is that what you're really saying is that the creatives are the bureaucrats at a high level of government that are making the decisions about what should be looked into.
Yeah.
It's insane.
No, it makes no sense. Mm-hmm.
And it's true of everything, not just the medical field. I mean, I would say the same thing about education or anything else.
Well, when you mentioned that, like climate change is what kind of jumped into my head. You know, I mean, if you want to get your thing funded, this is how you do it. Like you say it's related.
You relate it to climate change.
Exactly. I mean,
I don't know that that's as true as it used to be, but there was definitely a significant period of time where whatever you were studying, if you wanted to get government research money to do it, and that's the bulk of research money at this point.
Yeah.
Dangerous in its own way.
Yeah.
Then that you had to relate it to climate change in some way or another.
Yeah.
And if it wasn't related to climate change, it would not get funding. Or, I mean, that's not an absolute.
It was not likely to get funding.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, and that's just ridiculous. I mean, who knows what kind of research was lost because of that.
Yeah.
You know, it's the broken window stuff, the unseen.
The unseen, the seen and the unseen.
Anyway, I thought that was interesting. I'm glad that they said that the person's practice couldn't be legally mandated except under the doctrine of strict scrutiny. I suspect that that's going to end up with that law being overturned and probably a lot of others.
Yeah.
And I think that that's a good thing in the long run, although you've got the LGBTQ, well, really just the T's.
Just the T's.
Going nuts over this. Yeah.
Yeah. I'll tell you, our society has definitely shifted away from a lot of that type of thing.
I say just the T's. It's the T's and young liberal women.
Yeah, right.
Going nuts about this.
They're big ally.
Yeah.
It's going to take a long time for that type of stuff to work its way out of the system.
Yeah.
Like there was so much of these laws and different things that were like put into the system.
And we're so far behind on this. NHS in the UK was pushing this gender affirming care for years and years, and they have backed off severely on this after the CAS review.
Yeah, I remember we talked about that on the podcast.
Yeah, I didn't talk about it as much as I meant to. I read through that whole thing, and I didn't actually break it down on the podcast. But
I remember us discussing it, though.
I mean, and it wasn't saying that it was necessarily wrong. It was saying that it didn't have enough support with the existing research to be the only path.
Yeah, and that idea I remember getting was that some of these things were just being applied too broadly when there's just not that many people that have this affliction.
Well, and I've asked multiple times of people, this is we accept that. I don't want to get too far into the weeds with this.
I know,
but I've already started.
Yeah,
so,
we're here. Let's just go.
So here I am.
Yeah.
That gender dysphoria is a dissociative disorder, and so why is this the only dissociative disorder where the standard protocol is to go with it?
Yeah.
To lean in, because generally dissociative disorders, the treatment is to try and bring people back to the reality.
Yeah.
To anchor them in what is factual.
Yeah.
And for this one, it's no, just go with it.
Lean in.
Yeah.
Listen to the voices in your head. They may have a point.
And no one has been able to give me a satisfactory answer as to why that is.
Yeah.
And I think, once again, that it's, because this is mostly coming down from the big professional organizations.
Yeah.
And those people are bureaucrats at this point. They may have an MD.
Yeah.
And in fact, I think they generally do have an MD. But they're bureaucrats. They're politicians and bureaucrats at this point. And I think that it's about money. I've seen statistics that say that a transgender person is worth something like $7 million to the medical field over the course of their lifetime.
Yeah.
Just one is worth $7 million to the medical field.
And that makes sense. It's wild that we would allow that to happen.
Yeah.
I don't know.
And adults can do what they want.
Oh yeah.
I don't care about that. I have been good friends with more than one transgender person. I never understood it.
Yeah.
And I've asked, I talked to these people at length trying to understand.
Yeah.
I never understood it. It just doesn't make sense to me. I try to be really open about that, but I liked those people. They can do what they want. They were in their 20s.
Yeah.
When they transitioned, and hey man, if that's what makes you feel better, then fine.
Yeah. I had a...
except I couldn't say, hey, man, anymore.
So funny that you mentioned that, because as fate would have it is I had a transgender truck driver today deliver to my store. And I caught myself 3 times with the hey, man.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I actually don't know how this person was trying to identify.
Yeah.
I just don't know. And super cool person. Truck drivers can be a pain sometimes. And I go out of my way to be kind to truck drivers when they deliver to my store, because I know how frustrating their job is.
Yeah.
And I don't want them to dread coming to my store. But anyway, yeah, I felt really bad. I the third time I said it, I was like, this person's going to call me out. And they didn't, but I don't know. All of that to say, I don't know. It's an interesting day I had.
Yeah. Well, there seems to be, I would say the evidence for the gender affirming care is not strong.
Yeah.
Based on my own reading.
Yeah.
And I'm happy to see this, though, not because of that. I don't care about that really one way or the other. No. I do at some level, but that's not why I bring this up. The reason I bring this up is because I like to see decentralization, and this seems to be a decision that promotes decentralization.
Yeah.
Of a very important industry too. So
Yeah.
now we just got to contend with the professional organizations.
All right. Wow.
So there's something positive.
Yeah.
We didn't nuke anybody.
I'll take that every time.
And there was a step toward decentralization of the medical industry.
I'll take it as a win.
Yeah. So all in all, a good week.
All in all, a good week. Well, yeah, it definitely, it's been a week, I'll say that.
Yeah. Somebody was asking me about Venezuela this week. And I was like, honestly, I have not kept up. It's like one crisis after another.
It really is. Like, this week has been tiring. Well, I mean, it's been tiring for me for a lot of reasons, but as far as like keeping up with stuff for the podcast, it's like things have changed every day.
Yeah.
Like since Sunday, like it started on Easter, and has just been like a whirlwind ever since. We got to make sure we get this podcast out tonight because it may be defunct by the time people get to listen to it.
Yeah. Sure enough. Well, let's get on that.
Yeah, let's work on that.
All right. Well, you're not here next week.
So I'm gone. So it's either find a guest or go solo.
Yeah. I'll see if I can find a guest.
Yeah.
And if not, I have some ideas for tax week.
Tax week.
So if I can't find a guest, then it'll be a good, boring financial podcast.
Taxes are fun. Dude, taxes affect everybody personally. I don't understand why people think that stuff's boring because...
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. If you get too drawn into the weeds, I can see it. But
but
there
are statistics to go over that.
Yeah, but overall, but those statistics, like, they affect you, man. Like, I mean, this is your money.
Mm-hmm. The government is stealing it from you and has somehow convinced you that it's your duty.
Well, they're stealing it from you and then they're blowing it up.
Yeah.
Yeah. A lot of it.
$1.5 trillion now.
Yeah. Like, just blown up.
The income tax revenue from 2023.
Yeah.
Total income tax, like individual income tax or personal income tax revenue.
Yeah.
For the government was like 2.2 trillion.
Yeah.
Now we're talking about 1.5 trillion going just to defense.
That's insane. Like, where it blows my mind.
It's like 2/3 of the personal income tax money that the government collects gets blown up somewhere or another.
Gets blown up on the other side of the world and then causes more inflation.
Yeah.
Like, it's like this like spiral, man. Like, I don't know, man. It's tough running an empire.
It is tough running an empire. So. All right. We'll I'm planning on figuring out something for next week. Although I honestly, I really need Liberty Larry to make me do this every week.
You need me to motivate.
I'm a really excellent procrastinator. And so I will procrastinate myself right out of doing it.
Well, I've been told all my life that I'm a very good motivator, that I'm good at motivating people. So
yeah, well, I don't know
about that. I guess you're reaffirming that for me. I'm taking this as a reaffirmation.
Okay, well, I'm going to say I don't know about that, but I figure if you show up, I kind of have to do it.
Yeah, well, there's that too. And I'm going to show up, so.
Yeah. All right, so some kind of plan for next week. We'll figure it out. So I'll be back next week, and hopefully I get it right.
Yeah.
And in the meantime, try to stay free.
Life's short, live free.
Ciao.
Later.